Okay, so in this lesson what we're going to do is see how we can use our newly imported content in the level. Okay, so we can see it actually doing the animation. So how do we do it? Well, it's quite simple. First of all, you need to come back over here to the level. So let's go ahead. Remember, this is the magical room where all of the exciting stuff is going to take place. You can be right here doing a little kicking thing. We'll have a camera kind of pan around as we close out on the movie. Maybe we should go ahead and hide some of the stuff that's in here right now. And selection, yeah, see how it's kind of hard to select this? These coronas can end up getting in the way. So we can just come up here real quick to View and come down here to Advanced Options and come down to Display and grab coronas and take them to false. And now, bink, much easier to select stuff. So we'll just come in here and we'll grab all those guys real quickly, like such. And you know what? We'll go ahead and grab this down here as well. And then we'll just put a little hand over here and pull it on down and hide all those actors. And I hit the button, but it looks like nothing's happening. All you need to do is bink, update your viewport. Okay?
Ooh, yeah.
So that's obviously an important one. So now that we've done that, how do we get her over here? Well, let's come over here to the actor classes browser. What I want to do is go ahead and close up triggers and then come down to pawn, open up an Unreal pawn and grab an X pawn. Now I can simply right click over here on the floor, add an X pawn here, okay, and ta-da! We have got a character in there. It's not exactly the character that we're interested in having at the moment, but let's go ahead and select this character and see how we can go about changing over to our character. So let's go ahead and open up properties, and what I want to do is come down to the display section and then come down a little bit lower, and you can see that the mesh currently is set to thundercrash.jacobm. So we need to get Jacob out and Swamp Thing, who now is wearing textures, in. So how do we do that? Well, right now over in the animations browser, she is the last thing that we had being viewed over here. So with that being the case, all I should have to do is come over here to mesh and simply say use. Okay, great. She is Amazon, that's for sure. Very, very big. That's okay because, well, I wanted it to be that way.
Oh, yeah.
So I really did. I didn't want her to be like teeny. All I got to do is come up here to draw scale if I need her to be smaller.
Right.
And all the animation, everything will scale perfectly. But look at that. First she was Swamp Thing over inside the animations browser.
Now she's Funky Thing.
Now she's Funky Thing over here inside the actual level. What do we need to do? Well, if I come down here to skins, skins were currently set up to handle Jacob's skins, and we need to go ahead and get that out. So watch this. I'll simply hit empty. Now, even though it's emptied out, it looks like nothing's happened. This is another case of the viewport has not yet been redrawn, so I can simply bump the view and ta-da! Ooh, it's like magic. Now I'm going to hold control, both mouse buttons, kind of move her down into the floor like such, and let's go ahead and come up here and find her, so somewhere way down here, and we'll turn her around. So we're looking at something over there, kind of. That's pretty close right there. I'm just being picky now.
I
know, imagine that. I knew he was going to say that. So there she is. So that's looking pretty good. Now, how do we control her? Control is the key word here. We need to control her. So right now, what I want to do is I'm going to come back over here to Actor Classes, and we'll come down to Key Point, expand that. We'll come down to AI Script, expand that, Scripted Sequences, and I will grab an Unreal Scripted Sequence Actor, and somewhere right about maybe here, simply right-click on the floor, add Unreal Scripted Sequence here. All right. Now, I need to make an association here between these two. So we'll come over here. Basically, I want to get rid of the controller that she has, that the X-Pawn has. And I want to use this guy just to go through a list, if you will, of actions that she needs to perform. So with the AI script selected, all I need to do is come into its properties. Let's go ahead and close the display section up. And I'll come down here to events. And for the tag, I'll do something like LF for Lady Fighter Controller. Okay, let's go ahead and copy that, because I'll go ahead and select the X-Pawn, and if I come up here to AI, you'll notice that I have an AI script tag. So I'll just come over here, I will go ahead and paste LF controller that I said is the tag for my AI script node over here, and when I hit enter, watch what's going to happen. There's going to become a line that's going to be drawn, dink, from our pivot point right here all the way back up to AI script node. So it shows you that we have this association.
Right.
So that's pretty good. But right now, if we were to test out the level, things would still not be working the way we need them to work, because there's more stuff that we need to set up over here in the Unreal Scripted Sequence. So let's go ahead and come up here to the AI script section, and here's the big one. controller class. Right now it's set to none. So instead of it being none, what I want to do is go ahead and come down here and change this over to a scripted controller. Okay? So being a scripted controller, now we can grab control of our X-pawn over here.
Right.
Now I'm going to come up here to actions. We currently have 2 actions in our actions list. I want to empty these out and set up my own actions. All right, very easy. So first thing I'm going to do is I want to make sure that she's just kind of in a holding pattern until I tell her to play some animation.
Right.
So I'm going to click over here. I'm going to say add, and I'm going to come down here, and this first index, or the first element in the array, is going to be, let's say, how about an action, wait for an event. So wait for event, go ahead and hit new to commit that, and what is going to be the event that we're waiting for? How about, since we've used start movie, start target, how about start action? Like such.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so we're waiting for start action. So this is a latent event. We are going to stop right here. Now, of course, the rest of the game's still going on. Everything's happening like normal. But in regards to this action list, we freeze right here until we hear start action. Once we hear start action, what are we going to do then? I'll simply click up here on this line, hit add again. You'll see now we have index number 1 in the array. So with this element, let's come down here and change this action to a play anim. So action play anim. Hit new, and there's a bunch of different properties in here. This just comes down to what animation do we want to play from the animation list over here, the sequences. So we want to play kick, so I'm going to say my base anim is going to be kick, like such. We have a blend in time, a blend out time, an anim rate, iterations, is it going to be looping or not, what frame do we want to start at within the sequence. We'll just leave all of that at default. So we'll leave this as kick, and now play anim is not a latent action.
No.
Meaning the moment we hit this and this animation begins to play, we then fall through to the next action and do whatever it says. And I have a way of proving that. This is a very important point because as you go in to working with your own actions, some actions are latent, some actions are not latent, and you can end up getting yourself in trouble when you're thinking one is one way or the other and it's not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back up here to actions, add one more index to the array. So now I've got 3 things in the array. So this action right here, what I want to do is go ahead and come down here and do an action go to action. So we'll hunt for action, go to action. This is kind of like a go to in the old basic programming days.
Yeah.
Okay? So let's go ahead and hit new.
Memories.
And action number. What number do we want to go to? Basically, what index in the array? I want to jump back up here to 0.
Right.
Okay? So now that we've got this set up, basically, this will prove that play anim is not latent because as soon as the animation starts playing, what should happen is we should hit this go to action, jump back up to wait for event, and then if I re-trigger start action, she's going to be in the middle of her animation, but she should snap back and start doing the animation sequence all over again.